Students, we are learning about insolation. Insolation means it is the incoming solar radiation. So, solar radiation means the sun continuously radiates heat and light energy in all the directions. It is known as solar radiation. What is its importance? It is the only primary source of light and heat on the earth. All the living things on the earth depends on the solar radiation. This solar radiation, which is intercepted by the atmosphere, it is having the presence of white light, infrared radiation and ultraviolet radiation. So insolation, it is the incoming solar radiation which is received by the earth's surface. This insolation, after receiving the insolation, the earth's surface getting heated, and after getting heated, earth's surface radiate this energy back to the earth's atmosphere or towards the space. It is known as terrestrial radiation. What is the difference between insolation and terrestrial radiation? Insolation is short wave and terrestrial radiation, it is long wave. Insolation, it is capable of increasing the temperature of the earth's surface. Only 14% of insolation is absorbing by the earth's atmosphere. But the terrestrial radiation that going towards the atmosphere and then to the space, that is able to increase the temperature of atmosphere. So 34% of the terrestrial radiation is absorbing by the earth's atmosphere. So we can say earth's atmosphere is getting heated by terrestrial radiation, not from the insolation. So here there is a balance between insolation and terrestrial radiation, or there is an equilibrium between this incoming insolation and outgoing terrestrial radiation. It is known as heat budget. It is known as heat budget. Okay, so how this heat balance is achieved on the earth? It depends on four processes. The radiation. First one is radiation. It is the insolation from the sun which heating up the earth's surface. The second process, it is conduction. That means the heat radiated by the earth's surface warms the layers of air which is lying very close to the earth's surface through the contact. So air molecules getting heated through contact, that is the conduction process. Next, convection. So we know that in the troposphere there is a convectional air current. That means the circulatory movement of air. The air which is in contact with the surface of the earth getting heated, so they will be expanded, their density will decrease, so they will go to the higher levels of troposphere. From there they will cool down and come back to the earth's surface. Means cool air, its density is more, so they will sink downwards to the earth's surface. Again they will get heated. So this circulatory movement of air, that is known as a convection. And the fourth process is advection. Advection means it is the movement of air from cold region to warm region and from warm region to cold region. So this horizontal movement of air, it is known as wind, and this brings different temperature conditions and humidity to different areas. What is the advantage of convectional heating of atmosphere? As you know, the air which is lying over the earth's surface, that getting heated, and from there this heat is sharing to the higher levels of atmosphere. So the greenhouse gases which is very close to the earth's surface, they absorb this terrestrial radiation, and as they are lying close to the earth's surface, we experience a moderate temperature even in the night time. Night time there is no any other source of heat energy, so the heat energy received by the earth that is protecting by the greenhouse gases. Actually, they are blessings. Okay, but when their amount increases, then only it becomes a curse. Okay, so at night, the atmosphere acts as a blanket. This greenhouse keeps the earth warm by preventing the terrestrial radiation. And during the day, the atmosphere absorbs 14 percentage of insolation. Because of that, it is able to temperature the Earth's surface temperature. Okay. Then this land and sea breeze, it is related with the advection. It is related with the convectional heating of Earth's atmosphere as well as land breeze and sea breeze that is related with the advection. When the land is hot, the from water body the wind will move towards the land, and when the sea atmosphere is hot from land, the wind will move towards the atmosphere of sea, that is the land and sea breeze. We will learn about it more in the next slides. So here the distribution of temperature that based on some factors that affect the distribution of temperature over the earth. So that we are going to learn now. The important factor is the latitudes. The latitude or latitudinal location of a place that affect the temperature distribution. We know that temperature decreases with increase in latitude. What is its reason? Two reasons are there. One is the spherical shape of the earth and revolution of earth around the sun. Spherical shape of the earth and revolution of the earth around the sun leads to the temperature decrease with increase in latitude. As you can watch in this picture, due to the spherical shape, the sun's rays received by the earth, it is different. When these sun's rays are vertically overhead of a latitude, that latitude will receive a more heat energy or maximum insolation. But other latitudes, they will receive a slanting rays and then oblique rays. That means the heat energy received by the Earth's surface is decreasing from equator to the polar regions. Here you can find the heat energy received by the North Pole, that is mentioned here by D. D receiving less heat energy than C, that is the Arctic Circle. And then the equatorial region that receives less heat energy than Tropic of Capricorn on June 22nd. And place A, which is Tropic of Capricorn, that receives vertical rays of the sun. Because of that, that place experience the maximum heat energy. So latitudinal position of a place influence the temperature distribution. So why there is a variation in the distribution of temperature related with the angle of incidence of sun's rays? That also we have learned in the previous lessons. The angle of incidence is 90-degree means that place will receive vertical rays. Vertical rays, they covers only a smaller area. So heat energy is concentrating on a smaller area. On the one more reason is there, these vertical rays, they are moving through the atmosphere for a shorter distance. On the other hand, the slanting rays, you can look in that picture, the slanting rays, they covers a larger area on the earth's surface. These rays carry same heat energy like vertical rays, but as they are spreading over a large area, it share that heat energy in a large region. And one more thing, these slanting rays moving through the atmosphere for a longer distance because of the spherical shape of the earth. So, the reason for the varying angle of incidence of the sun's rays on earth is two reasons you can find here: spherical shape of the earth and inclination of the earth's axis. Spherical shape of the earth and the inclination of the earth's axis. So all these headings, they are the questions which is given in the textbook. Based on that only I prepared this slide. Next, this diagram that we have already learned. This is the heat zone or the climatic zones. The places which receive vertical rays, they are hotter. That is the torrid zone. In both sides of equator, torrid zone is present. So it is located between 23.5 degrees south to 23.5 degree north, between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. And beyond the torrid zone, up to 66.5 degree latitudes, means up to Arctic Circle, or in the south hemisphere up to Antarctic Circle, it is temperate zone. They receive slanting rays. It is a moderate temperature region. And near to the poles, North Pole or South Pole, or beyond Arctic Circle, or in the southern hemisphere beyond Antarctic Circle, those rays receive oblique rays. So these regions experiencing extreme cold. Coldest region is the frigid zone. So here you can find higher the latitude, colder is the place. So the temperature distribution is based on the latitudes. Higher the latitude, colder is the place. What is its reason? It is mainly based on the spherical shape of the earth, then revolution of the earth, that also uh, a factor behind the temperature distribution. We know that in when the northern pole is tilting towards the sun, that area receive more heat energy. When south pole is tilting towards the sun, that area receives the heat energy. So the revolution that leads to the difference in the tilting of the or the facing of a hemisphere towards the sun. Next, inclination of the earth's axis. Earth axis, it is inclined at an angle of 66.5 degree from the orbital plane. Because of that also there is a difference in the distribution of temperature. Then all these together contribute to the varying angle of incidence uh, on which the sun's rays strike on the earth. Our next topic is altitude. So there are a number of topics we are discussing here, and these all are based on some scientific facts. It will be difficult for you to understand. You have to watch it many times. So all these are having scientific base. So try to understand each point. So next point is altitude. Altitude means it is the height of a place above mean sea level. Height of a place above mean sea level. So we can say when height increases, temperature decreases. The higher the altitude, the lower the temperature. Here, air is cooler at a higher latitude than the earth's surface. Or we can say mountains are cooler than the plains. What may be the reason? This is a question in your textbook. Its reason, atmosphere is heated from below by terrestrial radiation. We know that the terrestrial radiation only heating the atmosphere. It takes place through the convectional air current. And the next reason, the air on the surface of the earth is denser because the denser air molecules have the tendency to be in the lower layers. So these layer only containing carbon dioxide, water vapor, these are greenhouse gases. They will absorb the heat energy, so we will experience a hot condition or warm condition. So these gases, they are present very close to the Earth's surface. So heat absorption capacity of these air molecules will be higher when they are in lower layers. When height increases, the amount of these molecules that will reduce, so their heat absorption capacity is lower. Okay. So normal lapse rate of temperature, what is it? It is the particular feature of the troposphere. For within the troposphere, for every 166-meter height, there is a decrease in 1 degree Celsius temperature. This is known as normal lapse rate of temperature. This experience in the troposphere. Troposphere means the layer which is lying very close to the Earth's surface. Then another reason, that is distance from the sea. So here you have to understand one fact. The land, it is an opaque surface. That means the heat energy receiving by the land surface, it is not transferring to next layers. The surface layer getting heated, soon it starts to radiate the energy backward. But on the other hand, ocean, that is having a cyclic movement of these water molecules. In this figure you can see insolation is receiving by the surface layers of water, and these water molecules, they will be circulating within the water. Through that, this heat energy is sharing throughout the water body. After that only, this water body will start to radiate the energy back to the atmosphere. So water body, it's a specific heat capacity. That is the term we have to use, specific heat capacity. It is 5 times more than that of the land surface. So if we need a thermal unit, means 1 calorie to raise the temperature of the earth's surface, it requires 5 calorie or 5 degrees Celsius temperature than that of earth's surface to increase the temperature of the water body. So from the surface of the atmosphere, very fast terrestrial radiation will take place, but from the water body it will take a very long duration for the terrestrial radiation. Because of that, coastal region, they will be influenced by the land and sea breeze. Here you can see the at the daytime, see the second picture. At the daytime, the land surface receive the heat energy faster, and afternoon it starts to radiate the energy back to the atmosphere. So air above the land, it will be hot, but on the other hand, over the sea, the air will be cool because that area not started terrestrial radiation. So cool air from the sea will blow towards the land. When it reaches the land, due to contact with the land, the air will rise above and it will get cooled. Again, it will come back to the atmosphere of the water. It will sink there. So that leads to a maintenance of balance of temperature over the earth. In the night time, its opposite happens. Night time, the heat energy received by the earth, it will be completely lost by terrestrial radiation. Air above the land will be cool, but that time only sea starts to radiate the energy back to the atmosphere. So the atmosphere over the sea will be warm. Then what happens? The air from land. Air on the land is cool. Cool air is having more pressure. So high pressure, from the high pressure region, the air will blow towards the low pressure region. It is the land breeze. Here also convectional air current is taking place. Air will be sinking over the atmosphere of the land. There will be more concentration of air. So that continuous blow of air will take place from the land to sea, that is the sea breeze. So this is having an influence in the temperature of the coastal areas. So coastal area will experience a moderate climate. That climate is named as maritime climate. So there will be a balance of temperature in the climate of a coastal region. On the other hand, the places which is located far away from the coast, for example, in India, Delhi, Punjab and all experience extreme hot in summer, extreme cold in winter because of the farness. They are far from the water body. There is no moderating effect of the land breeze and sea breeze. On the other hand, we can say the places which is located close to equator, Kanyakumari, Kochi, Chennai, Mumbai, all these places are experiencing a moderate temperature because they are close to the water bodies. Their climate is influenced by the land breeze and sea breeze. So the climate experiencing by coastal region, that is a moderate climate, maritime climate. On the other hand, the climate experiencing by the interiors of the continent, it is continental type of climate or the extremes of climate. Okay, so there will be a comparison between the climate of Delhi and Chennai. Delhi is located in the continental region, so it experiences extremes of climate and precipitation is less there. But on the other hand, Chennai is in the coastal region. It is influenced by the land and sea breeze, and as its location in the coastline, it is having more humidity in the atmosphere. It receives more precipitation. So that is the impact of temperature distribution based on the distance from the sea. Next is slope of the land. So we know that there are a number of mountains all over the world. So the slope of land that have an impact on the temperature distribution, especially the mountains like Himalayas, Alps and all, they have east-west alignment. So the in the northern hemisphere, the slopes which is facing south will receive more heat energy. So that area is having dense vegetation, dense population and all. But the north facing slope of such mountains, they are not getting enough insolation. So they are experiencing a cold condition. So the vegetation will be less there and they will be snow covered regions. Same way, the mountains which is located in the southern hemisphere with the east-west extension, the north-facing slopes, they will receive more heat energy, but south-facing slopes, they are not exposed to the insolation, so they have a very cool condition. And related with the slope and aspect, there is one more feature. In the temperate region or mountainous region, there experience inversion of temperature. Inversion of temperature means it is opposite of or reversal of normal lapse rate of temperature. We already learned when the height increases, temperature decreases. That is the normal lapse rate. But in the mid latitudes or in the mountainous countries, the temperature will increase with the increase in altitude. Its reason, here land loses the heat energy. When it receives the insolation, soon it starts to radiate the energy backward and very soon it will cool. So the air which is cool, it is having more density. So that air have the tendency to come downwards to the valley bottom. You can see here hill slopes, it will cool faster and that air have the tendency to sink towards the valley bottom. So valley bottom will experience a low temperature. On the other hand, slopes of the mountain will experience a higher temperature. So warm air rising through the hill slopes and cool air that is sinking through the hill slopes. So sinking of air towards the valley, it is named as a valley breeze. And the air which is rising through the mountain slopes towards the mountain higher levels of mountain, it is named as mountain breeze. Breeze or wind moving towards the mountain slopes, they are mountain breeze, and the air which is sinking towards the valley bottom, they are named as a valley breeze. So this mainly experience in the temperate or mid latitudes. There in the valley bottom, temperature will be lower than that of the slopes of the mountains. It is opposite or reversal of normal lapse rate. Another factor, it is winds and ocean currents. I think you remember about the ocean currents. There are cold ocean currents and warm ocean currents. Cold ocean currents originate from the polar region and warm ocean currents originate from the equatorial region. So warm ocean currents are able to increase the temperature of the coastal areas even in the temperate latitudes. And cold ocean currents, they are able to reduce the temperature of the coastal areas even in the torrid zone. Okay, so ocean currents, they influence the temperature distribution in the coastal areas. In the same way, winds which are moving from the hot region to cool region, they are able to increase the temperature. Means westerlies are able to increase the temperature of temperate latitudes. And the polar easterlies, they are able to reduce the temperature of the temperate latitudes. And westerlies which are moving over the warm ocean currents, they are bringing humidity to the coastline that leads to higher amount of precipitation. So that we already learned and related with the winds, their role we will learn in next chapter also. And the next topic, another factor which influence the temperature distribution, that is cloud cover. So this you may be experienced in your daily life. When there is more cloud cover, the radiation reaches to the earth, that will be less. And the radiation which received by the earth's surface, that leads to the terrestrial radiation. Escape of terrestrial radiation from the earth, that also will be reduced. So we will experience a hot condition in a cloudy day. Cloudy day, due to the presence of these terrestrial radiation within the lower layers. These greenhouse gases, they capturing these terrestrial radiation and lying very close to the earth's surface. Humidity also very high in our region. Because of all these things, cloudy day will be a hot day. But same condition means in the desert region, there is no evaporation. So in the daytime, all insolation will reach over the earth's surface. Without any prevention, this insolation will reach on the desert region, and soon after getting heated, the desert will radiate the energy back to the atmosphere. So there is no clouds to prevent the movement of terrestrial radiation. So the radiation will escape to the space very fast. So desert region experiencing a hot condition in the daytime, hot condition in the daytime, and very cool condition in the night time. So daytime it is too hot, nighttime it is too cold. Extremes of temperature experiencing in the desert region due to the absence of cloud cover in the atmosphere. Then vegetation cover also have an important role. Where there is more vegetation, that area experience a moderate climate. The vegetation is known as a moderators of climate. And where there is absence of vegetation, that area will experience a more hot condition. So vegetation is able to moderate the temperature condition. So that's all about today's class, means topic insolation. You can copy the notes from this. I will send this in the school app also as our notes. Okay, have a good day.